What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Yanks of the Cop. We are here for our open agenda show, Friday's Final Word. As always, I'm your host, Steve. Andrew will be in shortly, and Wahomie will be on at the top of the hour. We got a few things to talk about. Otherwise, anything that you want to talk about, go ahead and leave it in the chat. We'll definitely get to it, and we really appreciate it. But while we're waiting for Scans to join us here, I kind of just want to start off just by going on a little rant about this upcoming summer transfer window. Talked a little bit about it yesterday. I was on the Cop Council with some amazing other folks, Zane, Dave's LFC chats, the Dugout podcast, Ivan. So there was a lot of good shows. Oh, the Dugout. Hey, Doug, good to see you, buddy. Last night's show was awesome. And one of the things that we talked about was the summer transfer window. That was the main topic of the conversation. And I think that, under this Klopp era, this is probably the most important summer transfer window that we're ever going to have under Klopp's tenure. And there's a number of factors that go into that. Number one, the fact that his contract expires in 2024. I think at this point, we can all assume that he is not going to be coaching Liverpool after that season. He's already extended once. I think it would take a lot for him to extend out again. He obviously loves Liverpool, but I think he's one of those guys. He likes to take a year off, and I think it's time for him to jump over to the German national team and take that team over. A couple other things before I continue here. The Dugout. Dave, welcome, man. Hope you got that green screen. Hope you got that green screen fixed. Doug, I was actually going to private message you. Would love to have you on our show, and also would love to get over to your show as well. I've watched a lot of your stuff. You do awesome work. Anyone who's following this channel, if you don't follow the Dugout and you don't follow Dave's LFC chats, go ahead and do it right now. Those guys have awesome shows. Chris Welch, always good to see you. And Jay Gee, another regular. We really appreciate you. Jeannie, we're going to get to Jeannie the moment Andrew gets in here. He's going to be in here momentarily. But going back to my conversation here that I wanted to start things off with, yes, the summer transfer window is going to be the biggest window under Klopp. He's not going to be coming back after 2024. It's about time that he gets his time off. And honestly, there's a number of things. Number one, okay, he's done this young movement with this team now pretty much ever since we've won the Premier League. We keep investing in academy players and really going for guys who aren't stars yet and making them superstars. But now when you think about it, we know Klopp's not going to come back after 2024. It's time to invest in the big guns. It's time to bring in those big guys. I'm not saying that we're going to get a Haaland or a Mbappe necessarily, but it's time to get guys who are going to come in right away and make this team better. So it's going to be really interesting to see if FSG provides the funds to back it up. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of things that go into that. Can we stay in the Champions League next year, either via top 4 finish or winning the Champions League this year? Apparently, I saw a rumor come out today that we've already gotten $90 million because we're in the quarterfinals. So that's a lot of funds right there. If you can keep going deeper in the tournament, that's going to be absolutely massive for our window. Number two, the loan players. Every single player out on loan outside of Harvey Elliott should be sold. I don't care if they're only for £5 million, £7 million. We need to collect on that. We cannot be selfish and try to get £20 million for Harry Wilson, Marco Grujic, things like that. It's about time that we just bite the bullet, take it off the cheek, and go get money for those folks. Even if you only get 5, maybe 10 million for all those guys, that's all going to add up, and that's going to equal 1 or 2 players to bring in that can make an immediate impact. Now, when you think about what positions will we ultimately need, we had an awesome conversation on the Cops Council last night. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. But some of the things that we talked about, potentially center back, but center back's going to be really interesting because Van Dijk's going to be coming back from injury. That was obviously a dirty tackle. He's not somebody who picks up a lot of nagging injuries. Joel Gomez is going to be coming back. He's obviously a very talented player, but he does pick up those little injuries where he might miss a week or 2 here and there. Joe Matip, he's still on. Will we sell him or will we keep him? He's never available. He can only play about 1 game a week. And then you have big decisions to make with Kabak and Phillips. I think Kabak has definitely earned the right to stay. And I think Nat Phillips has also earned the right to stay. But especially a guy like Nat Phillips, if he wants to go out and go somewhere else where he knows he can be the number 1 guy and go get first team football, I think he's definitely earned that option to go do that, and we should definitely accompany that for him. Get to the chat though really quick. Chris Welch, Nat Beckenbauer, 100%. He is absolutely everywhere. going absolutely crazy. Dave LFC chats, I know we talked about it. A big, big summer for FSG. I 100% agree. It has to be that. And then Dave's LFC chats, attacking mid and striker, baby. Yeah, that was the point he made yesterday. But before we go any further, let's welcome Andrew back in here. How we doing, Andrew?
Doing well. Sorry, I'm a little late here. Some stuff popped up, but good to be back with the Reds.
Damn right. Well, we were talking. We kicked things off with the summer transfer window. I kind of just mentioned that I think it's the most important window in Klopp's tenure. And I think this is going to be the most important summer that we've had in a long time. We had an awesome conversation on this with the Dugout Football Channel and Dave's LFC chats on the Cop Council last night. We all kind of agreed attacking mid, striker, probably actually might be the two biggest things that we need. But what's your opinion on this summer window, Andrew?
I mean, I agree with everything that you guys just said. I think it's definitely one of the biggest, if not the biggest, under Klopp's management here with Liverpool. It's going to be really interesting to see who gets the axe. I think that someone like Ox is probably on his way out. I think Shaqiri could be on his way out. I'm really curious to see what happens with Takumi Minamino, whether he is just sent on loan again, if he's kept within the squad. Do we just sell him to someone like Southampton? What's going to happen with him? I think Joel Matip could be on his way out. So there's going to be a lot of goings, and hopefully there'll be some comings as well. I know Awar is a really popular candidate. I know Doc is a popular candidate. Gino Wijnaldum could be on his way out. So no, it's going to be absolutely massive. I think a lot of it rides on if we make the Champions League for next year. So hopefully we can either win it or secure top four. I think top four is definitely going to be difficult. It's going to be quite the wild ride these last few months, but doesn't mean it's out of the picture by any means at this point. So, I think a lot of people have been mentioned Bobby Firmino. What's going to happen with him? We can get into that a little bit, but it's going to be a wild window. Divock Origi, he's probably going to be on his way out too. So there's going to be a lot of names that are going to be out, and there's going to be a lot of new names hopefully coming in.
And I want to get to a couple of key players that I want to get your opinion on over the summer. But to get to the chat, Lost Idea, good to see you back, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Dave's LFC chats, what kind of wine you got, bro? I'm sipping on some Cabernet Sauvignon. Very good, very cheap, very good. You got the Peroni Friday going. If I had beers, I'd do it, but my stock's empty right now. Jay Gee in the chat here. My weird controversial take: if we don't get a striker, take back Coutinho to get the best out of Jota and Firmino again, or someone like him is needed, at least in my opinion. I know where I stand on this. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. What do you think? What do you think, Scans?
Coutinho is a very touchy subject. I think for 30, I think it was 35 million that he could come in for. I don't think it's a bad deal, but I know that Jurgen Klopp is a very, very loyal guy. And I think that the fact that Phil left under those circumstances for another club, and things didn't work out for him, but I don't think Jurgen wants him back. I think he'd rather bring in somebody else. Maybe he would rather rely on Curtis Jones. Maybe he would rather rely on Thiago. Some of these guys that Naby Keita. I would love to see Phil back, to be honest. I think that all can be forgiven with one good season back with the Reds, but I don't think Jurgen will. I don't think Jurgen's going to do it. Don't think Jurgen's going to do it. What's the hot take?
Back? You would take Coutinho back?
I think I would take him back. Yeah, why wouldn't I?
No way, dude. A guy who faked an injury, paid money out of his own pocket to leave the club. Absolutely no shot. Absolutely no shot. I do not want to see him back. I want to see him beg on his knees to come back and then Klopp to say, fuck you. No way do I want him back.
I think that's what's happening right now. I really do.
Well, he agrees. Hard no on Philip. My man Shane always got my back. Appreciate you. Dave's LFC chats. Yeah. You and Doug. I'm gonna DM you both. We gotta do a collab soon again. That was awesome. But Andrew, the guy I wanted to get your opinion on was a guy like Nat Phillips. Do you think that?
Let's keep it with Phil for a second. Why is everybody so against Coutinho? I understand that there's some bad blood there, but like I said, if he has a good season, that bad blood goes away. Clearly, he has a great relationship with Bobby. I'm sure he would have a great relationship with Fabinho and Alisson. They're all Brazilian, and it sounds like from the reports that his agent and Phil, the player, are trying desperately to come back. How reliable that is, I don't know, but Clearly, he's not wanted at Barcelona. Clearly, he's not wanted at Bayern Munich. Maybe if he came back to the Premier League and played with Jurgen again, he would get back to his best. But I don't think that Jurgen wants him back. But I would definitely take Phil back. I think Phil's for that amount. I mean, that's not expensive. I mean, we'd be paying 55 to 60 for Aouar, you know? I mean, Aouar is that guy that everybody wants, but we'd be spending at least 20 million pounds more for Aouar.
True, but Coutinho's 28. Aouar is young in his what? I think he's like 23, something like that. So I mean, we already have an old enough team as it is when it comes to the attacking side of the ball and how we're attacking our front three. Outside of Jota, up there in age, Coutinho is 28 right now. He'll be 29 next season. I don't think we need to go the opposite direction. We need to get the guys who are Jota's age, who are ready to come in right now and make an impact on the team. So I think I would much rather spend the 60 million on a younger guy who can be with us for the next decade rather than a guy like Coutinho who hasn't really played well in the last 3 years, and is older and left a sour taste in our mouth when he did leave.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know that he's the guy that we've been missing for the past 3 seasons. I mean, maybe not last year because we won the title and the year before we won the Champions League, but we do often miss that creative spark. And Naby Keita can't provide it because he's injured 90% of the time. I don't know if Curtis Jones is ready for that responsibility. Hopefully Thiago can be, but we need a fit Henderson. We need a fit Fabinho for that to happen. So I'm not against it. I mean, if he's coming for cheap, I don't mind it. I really don't.
I don't know. I would have a salty taste in my mouth. That's for sure.
That's fine. I don't know. I've always loved Phil. I'll always love Phil.
I mean, Shane's point, he thinks it's bad for team morale. I don't know if it's so much bad for team morale. I mean, everyone seemed to be around him, get around him when that first half of the season when he stuck around. Everyone said he was doing the right things and that sort of a thing. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think
also I don't think it was just Phil. I think Phil's hand was being forced by Barcelona, by his agent, and by his family. I think he was under a lot of pressure. He's not always the most outspoken guy. He's not the guy who's seeking the most attention. So for him to really go out of his way, I think definitely hurt him mentally and emotionally. So I don't know, man. I would take him back.
Okay. All right. Well, before I get too fired up on that, I do want to get your opinion on Nat Phillips. Do you think Nat Phillips has proved worthy to earn a spot on next year's team?
Yeah. I said this last time I was on. I definitely think that Nat Phillips deserves a spot. I think Mahomey had said that he thought that Nat Phillips should be the fifth choice center back. I think he should even be the 4th choice center back. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal ever since he's come into the side. He's finding some consistency. He's constantly playing, and he puts his body on the line every time he's out there. He seems like the kind of guy who would jump on a live grenade for one of his mates, and he's definitely doing that when the ball's in the air. He's jumping on that ball as soon as he can. So my question was about Kabak. Would you rather keep Phillips or Kabak? And at this point, I think Phillips has outperformed Kabak. So I don't know. I don't know what Klopp's going to do. I think Kabak has been playing decently well for Turkey as well. He's only 20 years old. I think he's actually 21 now. Just had a birthday the other day. Yep. But I think Kabak has all the skills, but I think Phillips has that aggressive nature that is needed in a center back. And he's not bad with his feet either. He really isn't.
Well, and you also have to think too, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but when you think about our center back options for next year, and I kind of kicked it off with this, we're gonna have Virgil back, and Virgil's a guy who's proven he can always stay healthy. This ACL injury is a freak accident based off of a Tyrannosaurus Rex not knowing how to go into a tackle, and then you got Joe Gomez, who he's a very solid player, but he does get these nagging injuries every now and again. Matip can't play more than 1 game a week. And then you'd have Kabak and Phillips as your next options. I mean, when you think about FSG's transfer policy and not always spending a lot of money, would you be comfortable with those 5 options as your center backs next year? Because I'm almost thinking if we're not going to have a bunch of funds, that's actually that group of 5 could actually be a solid group of guys to have, and you could spend money elsewhere.
So who were the 5? It was Virgil, Gomez,
Matip, Kabak, and Phillips.
Yeah, I think I still want to see more from Kabak. I agree. I agree with Chris Welch here. He said Kabak needs to do a lot more to stay at Liverpool. I think his first couple of games he's looked a little shaky. The last 2 games he's performed pretty well, but yeah, I just think we need to see a little more of him. I think that Phillips has kind of solidified himself enough for me to be that 4th choice. In terms of Matip's tough because when he's fit, he's one of the best in the world, in my opinion. But when he's not fit, which is 95% of the time, he's just not reliable at all. So, I mean, you could get rid of Joel and you could keep Kabak and maybe sign somebody else. I don't know. I don't know what you would do there, but we just need somebody who's available. I don't want 2 more injuries to happen and then we go, oh, let's go to Joel Matip and he plays 1 game and then he's out for 3 months. Because that is just the most frustrating thing. That's what happened this year. They didn't sign a Lovren replacement because they relied too heavily on Joel Matip and it bit him in the ass. So that's kind of the situation that we found ourselves in. So I would almost get rid of Matip. I would keep Phillips and maybe keep Kabak depending on how he finishes the season and maybe even sign somebody else.
Well, sticking with center backs though, if we did have to go and sign somebody else, I mean, what do you think of Joe Gomez? Like, do you think Joe Gomez is starter worthy? Like, do you think he's a world class player?
Hold on a second. Do I think Joe Gomez is a world class player? I think that still remains to be seen. I think that he's still young. He's still young, but he's definitely had some injuries over the course of his career that have put him out for quite some time. And it seems like every season he's out for, I don't know, like at least 2 months every season. So I think he's a tough one. I think when he does play, he has all the necessary abilities to be a world-class center back. When he was playing alongside Van Dijk last season, a lot of people were saying he was world-class, and I think I would definitely agree with them. He was, in my opinion, England's best center back last year. But like you always say, availability is an ability, and he needs to have that ability consistently. So hopefully, from what I've heard, his knee situation was pretty bad. So a knee coming back from that kind of injury is probably a lot harder than coming back from an ACL injury like Virgil's going to be doing. So I'm going to be interested to see how his aggressiveness is impacted. I'm interested to see how his dominance in the air is affected, and even his speed. We've come to rely on his speed, especially by playing that high line. But if his knee is as bad as everybody says it is, that's something that I might be worried about. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Joe Gomez is an interesting one for me because I think when he's playing his best, he's definitely one of the best in the Premier League. He's definitely easily in the top 5 in the Premier League, in my opinion, at center back. But the problem is like you said, he does get these nagging injuries every now and again. But then also he's just inconsistent when it comes to his positioning and like decision making at times. He gets pulled way out of position way too many times, in my opinion. So that's the only thing that kind of scares me. So I think if we do move on from Matip, or if we don't bring back something like that, I would actually want to have a signing that could push Joe Gomez and potentially be the sidekick to Van Dijk. Someone like a Botman or Coletta Carr, somebody on that caliber who's pretty well rounded and who would just be a natural replacement for Joe Gomez. And that way, if Joe Gomez does take a while to come back from that knee injury, or if he does continue to make these mistakes, like we have an easy replacement who can go right in there and know that they can play at a high level. So I think that'll be an interesting thing. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if, the group that we have now is the group that we have next year as well, based off the fact that we need to get younger in the midfield and especially up top.
No, I mean, I'm going to agree with Chris Welch again. He said he would. I mean, obviously, I did agree, but he said he would get rid of Matip, too injury prone. Every time he breathes, he gets injured. And Dave's LC chat said Matip got injured playing PlayStation. That sounds about right. But I still think that Kabak needs time. I think that Phillips has proved his worth to the team, definitely over Reece Williams, who's pretty young but doesn't seem to have the higher qualities that Nat Phillips does. So I agree. I think that maybe somebody else, if we can sell Matip to a German club, or I'm sure there would be some interested suitors out there. I could see him doing well in the Italian league or going back to the Bundesliga. If we can raise some funds for him, then maybe we could sign a Koletkar or Botman or someone like that who can push Joe Gomez who can compete with Joe Gomez to partner alongside Van Dijk. It'll be really interesting, man. This summer is going to be wild, and from what I've heard, it seems like FSG is going to put the haters to shame and actually back Jurgen Klopp. But that'll remain to be seen until the summer.
We'll see. I can see. So before I move on to the next topic, I kind of want to stick on next summer / next season. Do you think that Bobby Firmino will still be a starting player for us, or what do you think his role is going to be on the team next year?
What do you think?
I think he's still going to have a role on the team. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a true number 9 anymore. But I do think that the reason why we brought in Thiago was originally supposed to be a change in philosophy, and that, in my opinion, I think we were supposed to be playing a 4-2-3-1. And I think if we played a 4-2-3-1, Bobby Firmino would be a unbelievable number 10, because that's taking all the pressure off him to score goals. And then when he does score, if he can score 10 goals a season, all of a sudden that's pretty damn good in that type of a role. But that just allows him to do what he does best, and that's just press, win the ball back, and connect with the rest of the team. And I think that would take a lot of pressure off him. And also, when the fans come back next year, Bobby's a performer, and I think that having the fans there, hearing his song sang all the time, it's one of the most popular ones at Anfield. I think that will give him a lift as well. So I don't think Bobby's done. He's just, he has gone through a tough spell ever since COVID started. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that I 100% agree. You saw that Tottenham game as an example where the fans were back and he scored a goal and he ran to the fans. I think he ran the full length of the pitch to go celebrate with them, which was awesome. But I agree. No, I think that next season, depending on who we sign, I think that we should try to go. I think we should have multiple lineups and multiple personnel that are constantly being interchanged into the lineup. Maybe Bobby starts a game, maybe Jota starts a game, Salah, Firmino, that just constantly mixing it up top. If you look at a team like Manchester City, one of the reasons why they're so good in every single domestic cup and in the Champions League is because they have that roster to do it. So, you'll see Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus and Riyad Mahrez start in the weekend against Liverpool, and then there'll be a midweek FA Cup game, and they'll still be able to play Phil Foden, Gabriel Jesus, and Bernardo Silva on the wing as a front three. There's just this constant interchanging that they're able to do. So if we can keep Bobby Firmino, he's able to provide for that. If we get Daka, he's able to slide into that role. Jota, Mane, and Salah, obviously. And just speaking about that too, just thinking about Mane and Salah, I think, isn't the Africa Cup of Nations next winter again as well? So that's something we have to think about too. We're going to be missing 2 of our front 3 in a pretty important part of the season. So hopefully they'll sign somebody who won't be missing during that time as well. So no, I think that Bobby is essential to the club. I think he's the engine of the team. He's definitely the best at pressing and something that we miss when he is not in the team. But his presence either on the bench or on the field just adds to the amount of options that we have.
Agreed. And I think, a couple of things in the chat here. JG, appreciate you, man. Have a good rest of your night. But Chris Welch, I think he's spot on. He'll stay. He has a role, needs to be challenged by another striker. Jota type player, needs more competition for front 3. I think if we were able to do something like bring in a true number 9, somebody like a Daka, and then maybe even another winger, if somehow we're able to get a player of Neto's quality, if not Neto, somebody like that to do that, then I think a 4-2-3-1 just makes so much sense. And there's always just going to be a question on how is Liverpool going to line up and who's going to play, because there's just nonstop options, and we know how Klopp likes flexibility. So I think that would just be those 2 additions and attacking midfielder. I think all of a sudden this Liverpool team looks a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Where are all these links to Neto coming? I know that we all want Neto. He's a great player, but why would we? Wolves just gave up Diogo Jota to us? Why would they give up Neto as well? I mean, are they our new farm team?
It'd be tough. I mean, you never know, but I mean, they do need an out and out striker. We got Wahomie back in here. We do need an out and out striker. I mean, I'm sorry, Wolves need an out and out striker, a guy who can come off the bench for Jimenez. So maybe we do something like give them Origi and Ox or something like that, and a little bit of money for Neto or something like that. Wahomie, we were just talking about summer transfer window, potentially adding a true number 9 and maybe a winger to what we got so far.
Oh, yeah. I think it's gonna be hard for us to find a number 9 that's good, because most people when they think about number 9s, they're talking about Mbappe or Haaland, and that's not gonna happen. So a lot of people aren't convinced by Daka. I know Dave's saying Daka, but I see a lot of people aren't convinced by him because he plays in Austria, and the fact that he hasn't done it in the Champions League when he has played there. And then people talking about Donnell Marlin. I'm not 100% sure. Or then there's that Fiorentina lad that scored 12 and 30 games. I don't know. I think we end up getting a forward and pushing Salah Jota in the middle, especially after the comments recently of Klopp's that came out that Klopp wants to keep the front line and add someone in addition. So I don't feel we're gonna get a top number 9 in that sense. It'll be one of Salah, Jota, and a wide forward. Especially, I think James Pearce recently said that we're still linked to that Jonathan Davids of Lille. So yeah, who knows? Well,
sorry, Dave LSC chat just dropping.
Cheers to you, Dave. Enjoy, man.
So who knows? But I just don't see a top striker coming in that sense anymore.
But
I was just saying, homie. I think that yeah, man. I completely agree with Shane. We're not going to get that much for Oxlade-Chamberlain. If we get 10 to 15 million, I think we'll be lucky.
Probably starts for right now, though.
Huh?
Probably starts for Arsenal right now.
Ooh, shot fired. Shots fired.
Shane's an Arsenal fan, so
yeah. I forgot what I was going to say, so go on, Steven.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I wanted to transition over to some of the action in the international break, because we saw a big matchup, Holland versus Turkey, where Kabak put in a hell of a performance for Turkey, and Netherlands, led by Gini Wijnaldum as captain, did not have their best showing, and Gini himself was a very pedestrian performance. Did either one of you guys get to check any of the match or the highlights? Because Kabak looked really good up until he made one mistake kind of at the end of the match, but other than that, he looked colossal in that match.
I watched some of the game. I did think he did play well, but then again, the one thing I'd say, he wasn't really tested in that game because I don't think Holland played particularly that great. Even though they scored twice, he's only really up against Depay, and Depay's not really a proper. He's more of a creator, Depay, than a top goal scoring player. So he wasn't really tested, but yeah, he did play well in that game. Regardless of the mistake at the end, he did play well. So it was something like you can see the potential there. So I'm now seeing obviously for myself that Kabak would be a very good number 4.
Yeah.
I still not fully convinced just to have him as the number 1 partnership next to Van Dijk, and would want someone else. But he'd be very good number 4 considering his age at 20. And he's obviously progressing quite a lot. And obviously the stuff at Schalke was purely just because of obviously him being in a really poor team. So he has looked good. So, but there's bigger tests now to come, which will show us how well he is against Arsenal and Madrid. So, and obviously I'm just hoping, that he can continue this form going on because, if he passes those from flying colours, then we've got a player on our hands.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, homie, what do you think about getting rid of Joel Matip? Steven and I just talked about it. I'm just curious to hear your opinion.
Yeah, Matip needs to go. I said before, Matip. If it was me, I would wield the axe. Matip, Ox, Origi,
Shaqiri.
Shaq.
Yeah, I agree.
Pays mistake, even Keita, I'd probably get rid of him. Purely because he's not fit. Hardly at most of the time. I'd axe them all. But obviously Klopp's not going to go that far and clear out that many people. But Matip should go. You know, Matip's been a legend, been obviously one of the best players when he's around, when he's fit. But you know, I think his injuries have taken a toll, and I think this new injury he's had is going to take a massive toll on him now. So we can't obviously rely on someone who's that unfit anymore. So apparently, I heard that Matip wanted out. I don't know. I heard a rumor about that he wanted out.
Oh, really?
He wants to change the scenery.
Kind of works out.
But if that, I don't know how true it was, but I did remember seeing that. But yeah, I would let Matip go and say, look, Matip, you know, you've been amazing, but it's time for you to move on. Keep Kabak as the fourth choice, and then get someone like Curtis Carr or Botman or one of those guys in to come in and strengthen the wall.
Yeah, my point was I think you can sell Matip and get a decent fee for him still, maybe 20 million. You can use that money to get someone like you just mentioned. They're maybe the second or third choice center backs, and then you would still have Phillips and Kabak if we decide to keep him.
Yeah. I'd be happy with that. You know, I wouldn't get rid of Phillips either. I'd keep him. I'd keep Kabak, and then I'd still bring in our centre back. I don't see why we can't have 5 centre backs.
Well, especially Andrew made the point of Joe Gomez coming back from a pretty bad knee injury too. Like, you don't know what you're going to get out of him, especially with his injury history too. So you need a top tier guy, and I think Coletta Carr and Botman would be the perfect guys to slide in for sure. But going back to some other guys who played, 2 things that really concerned me. Number one, Tsimikas was playing a hell of a game for Greece, and then he left with an injury. Hopefully it's just a cramp type of situation. I haven't seen any updates on it, but he did leave after he was playing very well for them. And then, Naby Keita put in a great performance for his team, but he had like 2 or 3 pretty gnarly tackles going into him, and he played a full 90 minutes, which definitely concerns me a little bit. But what are your guys' 2 takeaways on that? I mean, Naby Keita, great performance from him and a good performance from Tsimikas, but 90 minutes for Naby, and then Tsimikas getting injured, probably going back in the basement.
I heard Tsimikas it was only a cramp.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
I heard it was something pretty minor, which is good news. I heard he played decently well, but yeah, I mean, who was the other player?
Naby,
yeah. I hate when he goes to the national team because he's always going to come back injured. He's always going to pick up a knock, and the fact that he was playing 90 minutes when I don't think he's ready for 90 minutes it is very concerning, and I don't understand why the national. Well, I understand why the national team manager is doing that, because they need Naby to progress in whatever tournament they're in, and it's maybe for World Cup qualifying, but it just doesn't help Naby's career at all. I think it only hurts it, and hopefully he comes back unscathed, but I doubt that happens. I bet he's out for like a week. That's what's going to happen. He's going to come back. He's going to be out for a week.
Well, I tweeted Naby 90 minutes. I'm nervous, and someone said no, he played well and he was fine and no nothing. So hopefully, because obviously, like you're saying, Andrew, if Naby comes back and now is injured, he's out the Arsenal game and stuff, then it's just God's sake. So, you know, with Tsimikas, I hope it's just cramp. You know, like as people have said, a lot of people said it's cramp because, you know, he's that kind of player you might play against. Maybe Arsenal, give Robert a rest, or after that, so Robert can get a rest. Especially when you get past Madrid, you want to give Robert a bit of rest more. And Tsimikas is, you know, obviously a very good left back, just been unlucky with injuries. So hopefully, he can come back and it's not an injury. And here Naby could still have a big role to play towards the end of the season. So, you know, fingers crossed that they both aren't injured and that, you know, they can continue going forward, because we badly need them for the squad depth.
One thing I did love to see in the international matchups was Thiago coming on in the second half, getting the captain's band, and he was just pinging balls all over the place. Absolutely great performance out of him, and he looks sexy as fuck wearing some Predators on him. Woo! And I think that type of role is kind of why we brought him into Liverpool. He just hasn't really been able to do it yet. So I just took a lot of positives away from his performance and expecting him to be one of the key players for us in this last 9 games or so that we got left. Did you get to see any of that?
Yeah, I only saw the highlights of Thiago. Someone posted a clip of Thiago, and I was like, yeah, he was looking good. For the cameo he came on, he looked good. I think, like him and Fabinho and Ginny until Henderson comes back, if he does come back this season, are going to be crucial for us. So it was good. It was good to see him playing those kind of balls and just looking good and getting that small run out, because he's going to, like I said, he's going to play a crucial role for us in terms of getting past Madrid and in terms of going far in the Champions League, him and Fabinho. So it was good to see him. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw I didn't see the actual match, but I saw the little highlight reel that Wahomey had tweeted out and or retweeted, and it looked to me like he came on at a point in time when Greece was just kind of, packing it in. They're kind of parking the bus, and that's when Thiago thrived. So it was good to see him pinging the balls around. But I think the key to Thiago's season is the presence of Fabinho back in the midfield. I think that him being able to comfortably move up the pitch and not have to worry about covering for Trent or for Robertson, or to provide as much defensive cover as needed, I think it's only good for Thiago. And I think that's why we signed him in the first place. It's what we had in mind in the first place. But all of these injuries, obviously, we had to make some changes, and he was forced to play in the same position. But for him, it was slightly out of position with the way that Liverpool played. So I'm excited to see what happens for the rest of the season for Thiago, because we were so excited to see him at the start of the season, and obviously things went awry a bit. But now that they're starting to come back together, hopefully he can be a big catalyst in our emergence or our fight for the top 4 and for Champions League. I'm really interested to see how he does against Kroos and Modric against Real Madrid.
Well, what I'll say with Thiago is the fact that, going on what you said, like when he played against PSG's midfield last year, he stood out. When he played against Chelsea's midfield last year, he had Kante and Mason Mount on the ropes running around. The same with Barcelona. So he's good enough to shine against those players. He's done it, against top midfielders before. So the one thing about Thiago, he wouldn't be fazed by it, and that's the son of a top player. He'll relish the opportunity to test himself against, 2 of the best midfielders, of this decade that he's going to be playing against. So it will be a good battle. And I think that's where him, Fabinho, and Thiago and Ginny should come out on top. I think they've got a bit more energy than Kroos and Modric and Casemiro.
I think that because of Fabinho's absence and Henderson's absence and all the rotation throughout the midfield, I think that Thiago has been one of those players that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, at least in the Premier League. So the fact that Fabinho's back, and I think he's built up a nice chemistry with Gini, I think those 3 in the midfield could really hurt Real Madrid, and for all the points that Wahomey just said. So it's gonna be quite the battle. But first we have to take on Arsenal, and hopefully we can take them down.
Are you guys confident that Arsenal game, considering our record at the Emirates?
Yes, I am.
I am, but I think this is, in my opinion, this is really the first test for Kabak and Phillips, because we haven't really seen them go up against pacey strikers, and they're either going to see Aubameyang or they're going to see Lacazette up there. So that's really what I'm watching is if those 2 guys put in the performances that they were putting in before the break, then 100, and then I have kind of no fear going against Real Madrid. I know they're a whole different beast than Arsenal, but I just want to see if they can play with that confidence and get another clean sheet. If they do that, then I'm very confident in this team going forward.
Are you guys putting our best team up for Arsenal, or are you rotating for the Madrid game?
I'm putting my best defensive line up there. I'll probably start. It depends on what you think the best starting 3 is, because if you want to have Jota or Firmino up there, I'd probably start Firmino in that game. But I'd probably go a guy like Curtis Jones in the midfield in that. I mean, maybe even give Fab a rest. I don't know, but I would definitely do maybe like a half rotation, not a full rotation, but a half rotation. Something maybe 2 or 3 non-starters getting some minutes.
What about you, Andrew?
I think they've had. I mean, yeah, they're doing an international break right now, but I think they've had a fair amount of rest before that. So I'm going strong against Arsenal. I think you need to go strong every game from now. If we want to make the top 4, winning the Champions League is not a guarantee, unfortunately. And I think that I also think that Liverpool are a type of team that need to build chemistry or need to build momentum. So I think that they need to go with the strongest lineup for Arsenal and then for Real Madrid and for every game after that. And I don't care who it is. It just needs to happen. Thanks for joining us, man. I got to bounce, boys. I got to bounce. Dave, thanks for joining us, man. Well, homie, thanks for running the rest of it. But I'll talk to you guys later. Up the Reds.
I'll see you, Andrew. Yeah, Dave,
Awesome.
we're just asking, would you put the best team out against Arsenal? Considering you got Madrid a couple of days later.
Do you know what? I would. And I'll tell you why. We are Liverpool. That's why. I mean, Arsenal away is going to be a tough one. Wahomey and Steve. I mean, Emirates, it's not a happy hunting ground. It has been recently, but we got to bring some form into Madrid. It's no use going there with half a team getting hammered and then going into the Madrid team with no confidence. We got to build confidence. Yeah, we got to put the concrete together and the bricks, baby. Start building that foundation. I think it's so important because I think we can do Madrid. I really do. Well, whatever we've got. Henderson's a big loss, though. Hendel's a big loss.
Yeah. Are you confident of Kabak and Phillips versus Lacazette or Aubameyang?
Yeah.
Because not.
No, I am actually. I know you were talking earlier. We did a show last night. Steve was on it last night. I lost my green screen, but it's I don't know where it's gone.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, Jesus. That's going to be a meme all over fucking YouTube. It's all over the shop at the moment. But I think we'd be okay. I really do. I think Liverpool with Kabak and Phillips, we got to have that foundation there. We don't have the likes of VVD. We won't have Gomez. We won't have Billy Joel Matip. We won't have him. So at the end of the day, we got to have those 2 boys ready, fit, and ready to rock. I mean, Kabak was 21 the other day. He's only young. He's a young centre-half. He's a Turkish delight international. So I think we'd be okay. We just got to keep those boys with Fabinho midfield. And Hendo's a loss for me. Hendo's huge. He's missing for the quarterfinals. But I think put a strong team in against Arsenal. I mean, the old school 80s, 90s, where I was growing up in the 80s, I'm sure you boys, you probably look a little younger than me, but I'm a bit like Benjamin Button, by the way. So thinking out it is, you know what I'm saying? So for me, in the 80s and 90s, you put your best team out all the time. As much as you can, you put your best team out. Is that right, homie?
Yeah, I agree. The reason why I was asking, because I agree. I think even though I feel top 4 is a long shot, but I still think we still got to go for it as much as and put our best team out as possible. And Arsenal away, as you're saying, is historically for us, we've not won a lot at the Emirates, and we have to respect Arsenal are playing good football right now, and they've got good players in Saka, Odegaard, Aubameyang, Lacazette, so they've got good players. Smith Rowe. So we have to put a good team out there and try and get a result, and if we can get a win against Arsenal, it sets us up really well.
That's it. I mean, it's not even going into the Arsenal game with we're depleted anyway, and going in with depleting it even further away from home. Although we do play better away from home, to be fair. So I play as strong as I'd play nearly the team I was going to play Madrid. I really would. So what have you got to lose? We've got to get some confidence. We haven't played for nearly 3 weeks.
Yeah. So and I think we're a momentum team. So we definitely need like a run of momentum, to get those points. So from the Madrid, Dave, are you starting Bobby or Jota? Because there's people did a debate saying that because Madrid are going to play out the ball at the back, that Firmino's going to be better for pressing. But then some people are saying we should go with Jota because of the Atlanta away when we won with the pace and the break. So for that first away game.
To be honest, I go Jota, and I'll tell you what. Jota has got the latter. But I'll tell you what, Jota, you've got to go Jota because he's got pace. You know, pace is everything in the modern game, and I mean, it just opens up. You can go buy a player. I mean, Bobby. I mean, you could play Bobby as a 10. You could play Bobby in behind the front three. You could play Fabinho. This is what you could do. This could be the team. You got the three amigos in front. You could play Bobby in behind the three amigos, as in Jota, Salamane, and you could play Fabinho and Gini.
I wouldn't hate that.
Klopp probably won't do that, especially away from home at the Bernabeu, which it is in the Bernabeu. But I mean, I think this is a toss of a coin. This quarterfinal, I really do. I think it's a toss of a coin. I did a video with Chris Pajak, I think, last week, the other day, and I was saying to him, this is a toss of a coin. This is literally 50-50. Madrid aren't as good as they used to be. They're the kings of the Champions League, the 13 Champions League, European Cups, whatever you want to call it. We are the princes, kings and princes. This is a royal battle, baby. This is a royal Champions League battle. So the princes can do the kings. There's no doubt about it. It can happen. It just got everybody's writing Madrid off. I just don't know why. Why are you writing Real Madrid off? We've a decent record over the last 10 years against them. Okay, they beat us in 2018. But other than that, we'd actually a great record against Madrid, and I think we can do them. I really do. If we'd VVD back and all the boys back, I'd be 100% saying we're going to do them. But I think it's a flick of a coin. But we've got to have Kabak and Phillips having A games. We got to have the team playing A games to get past this Madrid team. We got to be on our A game, baby.
Yeah, I think in that first leg, it's going to be who scores first. Like, I think, if Liverpool can get the first goal in the first leg, then it sets us up. If we go a goal down, my worry is sometimes we've dropped our heads when we've gone a goal down this season. Yeah. So I think it's vital that we score first. To just put Madrid under pressure a bit because
the away
goal. And for them to have to, I think because Madrid are an open team, they're not going to play like a low block or play defensive. That's not their style of football. No fans and no fans and no fans at all. So they are going to play attacking football and try to score goals against us. So with that, we can get an early goal. It open up the game for us.
It's gonna be weird. I mean, the Bernabeu is a big stadium. I mean, I think the capacity is half the planet of Earth. I mean, it's a huge capacity. It's like 4 billion could fit into it. It's huge. So that's going to be weird. I mean, we've been so bad at Anfield without the crowds, and I mean, I really do think we missed the 12th man and the Anfield roar, whatever you want to call it, more than most teams. I don't care what anybody says. More than most teams, we've missed it. That's why we've been so good away from home. You know what I mean? So, it's such a weird season. It's such a weird, surrealist Salvador Dali season. When you think about it, anything's possible. I think if we get past Madrid, it opens up. We've got Porto and Chelsea. Porto or Chelsea. It looks like it could be Chelsea. You never know. Porto might be Chelsea. And it could be Porto, Liverpool semi. And I mean, anything's possible. Are all our eggs in one basket? Can we get top 4 in the league? I think it's a long shot, to be fair, in the league. I think we have a better chance in the Champions League of getting back into it by winning it. But it's intriguing.
I'm sticking to my prediction that we win the Champions League.
Oh, baby.
Sticking to it.
Love it, baby.
Yeah. I'll stick it to it because I just feel that all the omens are there. Istanbul, Chelsea in the semi-final potentially.
Wow.
Messi not getting out of the round of 16. That's all. The last time was 2005.
Do I look like Freddie Mercury?
I was gonna say I can see a little background in there. Looks good.
I want to break free. Oh, fuck's sake.
That's hilarious. But one piece of news that came out recently, I wanted to get you guys' opinion on because when I saw this, it made me shake my head right away, and that was the financial fair play changes.
FFP.
Yeah, I mean, potentially it could be a good thing for us, but we know FSG's model, so I don't think it's going to be good for us. And I think the teams like City, especially City and Chelsea, number one, they're going to have a field day. PSG, Man United, all those big clubs. So
Yeah.
are you guys concerned about us being able to compete for like top names because of this?
Yeah, but you have to remember, Liverpool don't usually compete for top names. They usually buy like the I wouldn't say bargain basement, like the mid-level players and turn them into top level players. And we've been doing that for the last 5-6 years. But can you do that forever? That's the question I would ask. I mean, time will run out where you buy somebody for maybe say 50 million, which is a mid-level player, 50, 60 million. I mean, Naby lad was 60 million, wasn't he? 60 odd million from Leipzig. And can you turn them into a 100 plus million pound player? I mean, Michael Edwards deserves a knighthood for doing it with the boys at the transfer committee at Liverpool. I mean, they've been unbelievable the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not saying we don't have money, but we just don't have the money of City. We just will probably never have the money of City. Chelsea, forget about PSG. I'm not about in the league we have, even United. And I mean, even 1 or 2 other clubs. We just don't have as much money. We have done quite well, lads. We've been spoiled. I mean, I'm following Liverpool since the 80s. I'm in Area 51 right now, Dreamland. Even though we've had a bad season this season, I think we'll go again next season. I really do. Get our players back, add 2 or 3 quality signings, and that's the key. Quality signings in the summer.
I agree.
In positions, and we're ready to rock and roll next season.
And we're going to have something to prove next season too, probably more than any other team in the Premier League. We're going to prove to everyone that this is a joke of a season for us.
We'll be hungry. We'll be hungry, especially if the fans are back at Anfield. I'm just going to
exactly.
You know what I mean?
No one's ready for that. But I got to hop off here, fellas. Enjoy the rest of the show. Dave, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I think what you're saying there, Dave, is true. I think we do need like 3 good quality players. But I was worried about financial fair play because FSG's model is based around it. In terms of,
Well, you know we're homie about the FSG model and policy. This is the thing, right? This is the problem we have with the front three, the likes of Salah and Mane, who are the prized, let's say the prized assets at Liverpool, who are worth the most money. Every player is worth a certain price. You can see it the way it works in transfer committees and stuff worldwide. You could say Mo Salah, the king of Egypt, is probably the top price. I mean, he's got worldwide appeal, especially in Africa and Asia and places like that. He's worldwide appeal. So, Mane as well. But I'd say Salah's probably number 1. The problem is age then. Age factor comes into it and renewing contracts on big, big wages. They say to themselves, okay, he's nearly 30. He's on probably 200 grand a week. We can get maybe 70, 80, 90 million for him. Do we take the hit now and go for someone that we think might turn into a Salah? I mean, these are the type of things you have to do because Salah in another say Salah's been unbelievable. Look at his numbers. The numbers are just astronomical for Mo Salah and Mane as well as Mane in the mirror. Make that change. This guy has been unbelievable. So for me, this is the FSG policy. They look at the player, they look at the age, they look at the contract running down, they look at the wages, they look at the sell-on clause. Unfortunately, I'm not being funny here. It's a business, Romy. We can all be emotional about it, but it's a bloody business. And they've done quite well in the last few years, so I can't really give out, but I don't think Mo will be sold. And as we were talking last night on the COP Council, the likes of Origi, the likes of Harry Wilson, the likes of Gruitch, the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain. I mean, even Matip, they were talking about getting rid of. I'm saying, hold on. You can't just get rid of players. They're on contracts, they're on wages, big wages at Liverpool. Who the hell's going to sign them on 70, 80 grand a week? Few injuries, a lot of them injury prone. Who's going to take a punt on that? So there's a lot of issues for Liverpool this season to sort out because the squad's sort of starting to age, and I think this is a big, big season for FSG.
Yeah, I think I can't remember who was reading. Well, they were saying that I think it was someone from Echo. It wasn't James Pearce. It's one of the other writers.
My mate James.
No, it wasn't James. It was one of the other writers at the Echo.
Paul Gorst.
Could be, yeah. So it said that Klopp doesn't want to sell any of the front four. He wants to keep them and buy someone addition to those as a forward. So that kind of made me realize that Haaland or Mbappe is ruled out, or Sancho, because we would have to sell one of them to get them. So I think he's probably more looking like at finding the next lower level player, like a Jonathan David kind of player, rather than going out and spending 100 million on a player. So
it's not the FSG way, homie. It just doesn't. It's not what they do. I mean, everybody's been talking about Mbappe and Haaland. It's dreamland. I mean, where have they done that? It's not in their DNA. It could happen, but that would be against the grain if it does happen. So I can only go on what they've done and what Liverpool have done in the last few years. They haven't. Okay, with VVD, they went out. We need a centre half. Pay 70+ million. Bang. We need a goalkeeper. Pay Roma. At the time, it was the world transfer for goalkeeper. I know the Chelsea keeper broke it a week later or something, but I mean, you know what I mean. That didn't work out. But I mean, so the one player I would love at Liverpool, it would be a dream, and I could go to sleep tonight happy if I knew he was coming, would be Erling Haaland. I would think if he came to Liverpool, no matter anybody else, just keep the team as is, sell it 3 or 4 players, move them on, and brought in Haaland. I think that would even be enough to go for the league next season with players back from injury.
Yeah, I love Haaland, but I just think it's a pipe dream.
It's a pipe dream. That's what I'm just saying. I could go to sleep happy with the Erling Haaland coming in, but it ain't going to happen. That's the problem.
Yeah, it brings me on to my next point. I just want to bring up. So, Swiss Rambles posted yet today, I think it was, about how over the last 3 years, our wages have jumped 87% from 166 million to 310 million, which is a 10% rise in any other top 6.
Yeah.
So also a lot of people complain about, the fact that apparently we generated 90 million euros getting to the quarterfinals. So there's also that complaint: where does the money go? The fact that
people don't understand. Do you know what as well? Do you know what a huge 10? I think it was 15-20% of that wage rise. Do you know what it was? It was bonuses for winning the league, for winning the Champions League. They're on bonuses, by the way. When you win a game, you're on a win bonus. Any type of game, you're on a win bonus. But when you win the Champions League, or you win the league, you're on a big bonus, baby. So that's where the money's going. Huge money.
Yeah, I think we've got the biggest wage bill still.
Which is unusual for Liverpool, because we were way down 4 or 5 years ago. We were mid-table at best for wages. Like Arsenal. Like Arsenal would never get a top player because they wouldn't pay the wages. Remember that? Yeah,
I think that's what people don't remember, the fact that, or fail to realise, the fact that we've had to pay big wages to keep the Van Dijks, the Salahs, those top players to stay. Otherwise, they wouldn't stay.
Yeah.
So, and that costs money, and that's probably why, as well over the summer, I think that's a big thing as well we've got, because we've got big players like Van Dijk, Henderson, that new contract renewals, Alisson, that we have to look at and say, look, we've got to give these guys new contracts, and that's going to take a lot of money as well. Even Salah, apparently, he wants a new contract. Keeps saying that he wants to stay, sign a new contract. That's going to cost money too. So I think people need to realize that that's going to take a big chunk out of finances.
That's why I'm saying FSG's policy comes into play. You look at the front three, and they're saying, okay, who's worth the most on the market? It's just like a car dealership. You're looking at the cars lying out in the car dealership, and they're aging. They're lying on the lot. They're aging, and they're losing money as they age, because as the older the car gets, less money it's worth. It's like mileage on the car. So the way they're saying it is, okay, we've a nice Merc in the corner there, baby. That's Mo Salah. So we want to get rid of him with his little soft top. We want to bring a customer in that's going to buy him. So the way they're looking at it is, it's all about resaleability. That's what it is. That's the FSG model. Buy someone at the right age, bring them up to speed, turn them into a superstar, buy them for maybe a quarter of the price that they're worth in 2 or 3 years, and sell them on for a profit. But I just think if they sold Mo, which is the prized asset, it would be a big, big mistake. Maybe one of the front three. That's why they brought Jota in. Jota was brought in to mix up the front three, give us something different. But I still think we need something else on top of what they brought in with Jota. To make us, an attacking midfielder as well, maybe. To make us, go for the Premier League next year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to sell any of the front three at all this summer, any of them. And I think that weakens us if we sell one of them. I'd want to keep them all and add to it.
Yeah.
And then obviously get another centre back in. I'd want to keep Kabak and Phillips and have 5 centre backs. And then where possible, I'd want to get a kind of attacking midfielder if possible, or someone that's
exactly what I said. I mean, I heard you talking to Coutinho earlier, but I mean, Coutinho was brilliant. Remember when we sold him, he was their best player that season. That's the reason probably Barca came from. And we got him for a snip. I think it was 8.5 million from Inter Milan as a young lad. Brought him in. People forget he was top. He was a Brazilian international. He was a top player. He was a difference maker on the pitch at times for Liverpool. Some goals he scored. But I think the fan base is mixed on him. It's 50-50. Do I like him? Yes. Would I like him back? If you ask me right now for Neto of Wolves and Coutinho to come back to Liverpool next year, would I take it? Absolutely. Can I see it? No. You know what I mean? I can't see him coming back. There's an issue with the fan base. Yeah,
I don't want him back. As good as he was, I don't want him back. I personally, and also the fact that he can't play midfield. So, we saw that already.
He's a luxury player. Well,
yeah.
To be fair now, he's a luxury player. Can we afford a luxury player? Probably not.
Yeah, because we could only play him left wing. That's to fit him in the team. Otherwise, he couldn't. And obviously left wing, there was times where his defensive stuff cost us. Otherwise, he couldn't play midfield, and that's why even at Bayern and Barcelona, when they tried to play midfield, he can't play midfield. So they had issues as well trying to fit him in because, where are they going to play him? You could play him as a 10 if you're going to play a 4-2-3-1. That's the only way I could see him playing if you're going to play a 4-2-3-1, you play Coutinho there. But then I don't know. I think we need to move on for Coutinho Suarez.
No, Suarez certainly no. I can't see Suarez ever coming back. I mean, he took a chunk out of the club, but I mean, he's gone. I mean, Suarez is once bitten, twice shy. Did you ever hear that famous saying? I think Suarez has gone. What a player! What a player! Oh my God.
Chris, if you get Christian Falcon here, I'll do a collaboration with him. I don't like the guy. And finally, the last thing I want to touch on with you, Dave, is what do you think about this takeover? It was not really a takeover, it's like the purchase into FSG from Red Bird. Because I read an article today about, I can't remember the guy's name, who's the main head of the merger, and how he's got this vision of trying to monopolize TV as he's done in America, and how he wants to become some kind of TV holder.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I think FSG are not stupid. Let's say they're intelligent lads. Come on, they're not stupid. They're ahead of the game. They're looking at the likes of City. They're looking at the likes of Chelsea, probably even PSG for a Champions League type, level, and saying, okay, we're at that level right now. Have been last 3-4 seasons. But we need funds. We need to spend on players because that's just the way it is. You've got to pay the big bucks. And you ain't you can gamble. It doesn't always work. It has worked for us in the last 3 or 4 seasons. But as I said earlier, is it always going to work? I don't know. But I would say they're trying to raise money and trying to get it into Liverpool, which is probably a good thing. But this new FFP rule, more or less, is a free-for-all if it goes through. And the likes of City and PSG and Chelsea and all these other clubs that can spend billions and trillions, will. It's exactly what I thought UEFA were not. You know what UEFA was exactly against, because the lower level teams and teams in the championships and all would suffer. You know what I mean? It's an elitism, which I thought they weren't going to pursue. But all of a sudden, I think it's turned around. Maybe it's coronavirus. I don't know.
I think
maybe it's because so many teams lost money. They're trying to recruit money. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I think one of the PSG owners is on the board or something of the UEFA committee. Yeah. So and obviously he's been trying to. I think PSG has been trying to get rid of financial fair play because they've fallen foul of it.
Come on, yeah, but can one PSG guy who
money?
I mean, PSG got slapped. City got slapped by UEFA, but money talks. We're living in a world where money talks. I mean, it's unfortunate. You might say it's wrong. It is wrong. Unfortunately, it's wrong. But money talks, and it has always talked. I mean, it's all about the Benjamin Franklins, baby. That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
It is, and I think
it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, I think that is. I think that's why we are potentially going to suffer with, and I think hopefully, obviously, because hopefully, if this guy can bring, apparently he's been a big success in America. This Red Bull with Red guy. So
I forget the name, Steve something or something like that. But I'll tell you what, you look at us in the last race. Okay, Klopp came in October 2015. My mother actually died the week before Klopp came in. So my head was sort of all over the place. And I was thinking when Klopp came in, I always wanted Klopp because I seen what he did at Dortmund. It was unbelievable. But FSG seen him, we want him. Bang. I think United wanted him as well. I mean, Ferguson knew all about Klopp. He'd be, personable and bang, bang. So we got him in. We have done unbelievable. Well, homie, when you think about what we were up against, we're up against a team, Manchester City, no matter what way you want to say it, who are state sponsored. They're sponsored. They're sponsored by a bloody country. Come on, with endless supplies. Endless supplies. We're sponsored by a company, FSG, whatever you want to call it, company, an amalgamation of probably a few millionaires, billionaires, whatever. But we're up against Sheikh Mohammed of Man City, and this guy can just blow anybody out of the water. Let's be real. And we actually stood up against City. That's what I'm proud about. In 2019, we got, what was it, 97 points. We didn't win the league. We would have won it every bloody year, up until maybe 2 or 3 years. We won the Champions League. The following year, we said, hold on for a second. We're going for it, baby. And won the league with 99 points. And everybody's slagging Liverpool and having a poor season this year. What the hell? Does everybody realize what we were up against? Look at City this year. They're easy. They're probably going to win the domestic treble. I think that's a given. Are they going to win the Champions League as well? They're one of the favourites. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh, I don't want. I'm hoping that Chelsea kick him out of the FA Cup and they don't, and then we kick him in the final.
No, but I'm just saying that the possibility is even there. Unfortunately,
yeah.
Just look at it. They've won the League Cup, Mickey Mouse Disneyland Cup. Then they play in the FA Cup. Chelsea would be decent enough to beat. I think is it Leicester or Southampton and the other one.
Yeah.
And Champions League, they have a chance. I think they'll beat. Is it Dortmund? Who do they have?
Yeah. Dortmund, and then they have to face them in the Bayern PSG.
They'll beat Dortmund. So that's the only cup they haven't won. So that's the only caveat we have as fans to say, you haven't won the Champions League, so let's be real here. But no, we've been brilliant. Well, I mean, you followed Liverpool. I don't know how long, but I'm following them since the 80s when they were the Kings. We fell off in the 90s.
1990.
The 90s, noughties. We won a few cups. We won the 05, of course. Who would forget about that? Champions League, the Stevie G, 2005 in Istanbul. We were in the final in 07. A lot of people forget about we were in the final in 07. They got beaten by 2-1 against Milan. Actually played well. Unlucky in that final. Unlucky.
I still believe if we had played Crouch, we'd have won that game. Started Crouch, we'd have won that game.
Exactly. But there you go. So, but I mean, we've been I think a lot of the time Liverpool have been punching above the weight. I really do. For the financial part of it, look what Klopp did with the team, the core of the team. I mean, the starting 11, Liverpool starting 11, when everybody's fit is bang, ready to rock. But the bench, is it as strong as City's bench? No. Is it as strong as Chelsea's bench right now? No. So we have done unbelievable. We have been mentality monsters, whatever you want to call it. And I think if we can get the boys back ready to rock, a good pre-season. Now, the problem is the Euros, whether Van Dijk comes back and plays in the Euros, or that's a bit of an issue. But if we can get the boys back ready to rock, the likes of Van Dijk, the likes of Gomez, the likes of Billy Joel, Matip, the likes of Hendo, get these boys back. Even Jota has had a mixed. Thiago, even in his proper position. Fabulous Fabinho. Signed 2 or 3 class players. I'm talking about starting 11 players. I'm not on about the likes of Ben Davies. I'm not on about even the likes of. You know, I'm not being funny to Ben Davies, but I'm just saying. Starting 11 players. Well, you go. He's going to start if he's not. Fit, he starts. That's what we need for next season, and let's go for the league. And to be honest, as I said earlier, if we don't win the league, we don't finish top 4 in the league, and we don't get Champions League, win the Champions League, I do not want Europa League. I'd rather finish 9th and just set everything on the league. That Europa League can derail you. I'm serious.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think even they've got that second. There's 2 tiers of Europa League as well.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I don't want to be in the second tier.
There's 2 tiers. One here, baby.
So yeah,
I'm crying already.
So yeah, I agree, but I'm still daring to dream that number 7's coming home, and I'm holding on to that because I think I'll never write Liverpool from the Champions League, no matter who, no matter what. And we saw 2 years ago when we had so many players injured against Barcelona that we can do it. So, and I'd love. If we get past Madrid, then I think the sky's the limit for us because I don't see why we don't come and win it.
I've said it on podcasts already. It opens up for us if we get past Madrid. Obviously, it's Porto or Chelsea. I mean, you never know. Porto might beat Chelsea. Chelsea are favourites, obviously, but you never know. And then on the other side of the draw, they can eat each other alive. It's a cannibalisation of football on the other side. It's like of Bayern Munich. You might say might get there if holders. City might get there. Imagine us beating City in the final, baby. Number 7, 7th heaven.
I want to sit in the final so we can burst the bubble.
I mean, my father-in-law's a City fan since the 70s, so I have a problem. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's
Istanbul.
I mean, homie, I mean, I love coming on and having these chats and stuff. I don't know what you seen. We do a live chat. My green screen fell down last night on the Cop Council, but I just love the crack. I love the interaction. Talking about the Reds, we could talk all night, as you know. But I just think Liverpool. You look at Liverpool right now, where we are right now. We've still got chances. We're tipping. League, we've slight chance. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, top 4. Let's be realistic. In the league, it's going to be hard to finish even in 4th place. Champions League, anything's possible. It's in our DNA. It's in our DNA, baby.
Yeah, well, I'll tell everyone right now to look forward to Istanbul, Part 2.
Cheers to that.
So I think that's a good note to wrap up with.
Yeah.
So it's been a pleasure, Dave. It's been always good to have you on. A good laugh. Yes.
Gotta get you guys on my channel. The three amigos, Wahome, Scans, and Steve. Go, baby, onto my channels very soon.
Definitely, we'll definitely come on yours. It's overdue. Everyone else, we appreciate everyone else for obviously tuning in and being in the chat. You've been amazing as always. If you haven't, make sure you do like and subscribe because the more likes we can get, the more content is seen by other Reds and the more we can grow this channel. And obviously, we appreciate your subscriptions. Otherwise, we will be back again next week for more specials. So check out that. So we have got you covered over the lockdown, over this international break. Otherwise, Dave, always a pleasure. And everyone else, up the Reds, and we'll see you all soon.
Cheers.